Welcome to Season 6 of the Long-Winded One podcast. This is Spoiler Sessions, LitRPG, the only show where spoilers don't spoil anything. We're digging into fan theories, side characters, and the lore authors left in the drawer.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. This is season 6, episode 4 of my podcast. This season, it's called Spoiler Sessions, and I have the privilege of every week, sometimes twice a week, talking with authors from our LitRPG community. This week, I should say today on Sunday, I get a chance to talk with Dawn Chapman, who is a very, very prolific author. I think about 60 books. Is that right, Dawn?
Possibly with different people, yeah.
Yes. Probably depends on how you count them, right? Novellas are mixed in there and everything.
Yeah, there's some shorter books in there as well, so they're not all full, 200,000 worth.
Well, so we're going to talk about we're going to try to focus in on two series that are related tonight, and that is Through Steel and Stars and the prequel Razor's Edge. But Dawn has also written other series, Platera Online, Space Seasons. I could be here a while if I was going to read them all off. But I wanted to just welcome her tonight and welcome you if you're watching on YouTube, and or if you're just listening after the fact on any of our platforms. We are 29 weeks away from LitRPG Con, and this podcast also kind of is celebrating that, right? We're going to do a countdown every week leading up to LitRPG Con. And this week I get to spend it with Dawn. So Dawn Chapman, thank you for coming tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, but actually to meet you as well, because I've seen you quite around all the groups a lot. So it's good to actually finally meet you.
Yes, thank you. And so, and we have another special guest tonight, which I will introduce him later. Okay, he's actually hanging out with us right now. He's being very patient, and we'll bring him in about 10 minutes. Okay, so Dawn, I want to set the stage here. So this is Spoiler Sessions. We have somebody in chat named Luis who waved at us, and so this is Spoiler Sessions, and we're focused on unused scenes and or unwritten lore. We're focused on fan theories and side characters, and you have a few things that you want to talk about tonight. But before we do that, let's drill in on Through Steel and Stars, which is, I think Through Steel and Stars is that's a trilogy, right? We have Interstellar Pawn, Interstellar Gambit, and Interstellar Endgame.
Yeah.
So if you could you give us like a step away from the series and give, if people haven't read it already, what is that book series about? It's a sci-fi, which is great.
Yeah, there's not too many sci-fi in the genre, so that's kind of like where I come in with it. That's kind of like how I write. Sci-fi is like my biggest love. So for Through Steel and Stars, I kind of just really wanted an epic kind of space opera with really intense battles and planetary warfare and alien species, and it's got a little bit of everything in it, and it obviously a lot of traveling. You do travel a lot in space, so it's kind of how you can manage the distances and keep people engaged, and as well as sort of things that are going on in different environments. There is viruses and all kinds of other different bits and pieces that crop up through the series, so it's interesting in that sense to bring all of that into LitRPG and how you can kind of, manage the stats as well as the sort of like things that most people expect with sci-fi. So. And
our MC, Troy, could you tell us anything about him without sort of, giving too much away?
He's basically a bit of a smart sort of kid. He wants to sort of explore the galaxy himself. His parents wanted him to, take over the family business and stuff, and he didn't want to, so he went to learn to do science, and he's basically a science sort of like major, and he finds his parents end up getting, it is a spoiler, but it's in the first chapter, so it kind of doesn't matter. His parents end up getting killed, and his grandfather in this like conspiracy right at the start of the series, and he ends up on his parents' old farm where he finds this little shuttle that takes him up to a spaceship basically, and on the spaceship he finds I'd say it's like a humanoid kind of person who's sort of like in what do you call cryogenics, and it's actually like his brother, but he learns through the system and how everything works that he's actually, when he was a child, he had an accident and his brother actually gave him his lungs and sort of part of his heart, so they're kind of like intertwined biologically as well. So it's kind of interesting to bring in a different species that's part of the system as well. It's not AI, if you know what I mean. He's still kind of like a person.
Yeah. Well, so part and parcel to this series is the ship, the Razor's Edge, right?
Yeah.
And it is when I say part and parcel, it is part and parcel to the progression.
It's kind of you kind of don't want to give too much away, but Troy does sort of like progress up through the ranks, obviously, like from sort of like as you would like an ensign up right through to captain and admiral and right through, and his progression through the series goes right through all that, but the ship itself also kind of grows with him. There is a bit of a mystery around the ship and what happens and where she comes from, and sort of like that. It is massive towards the end of the series, but she does obviously originally start off in Pops, which is the Razor's Edge, which is the prequel I'm writing at the minute. So
yeah, so let's talk about the ship. So the Razor's Edge, you so this is one of the things you wanted to talk about tonight. So you spent how long mapping out the ship?
Weeks. It was originally I thought, okay, well I'll just sort of see how the level he is, where he sort of like first comes onto the ship, what the level's like, and I started plotting it out. And there's a couple of internet sites where you can download or find little like internal maps to like slot together like you would in like you can build things. I thought, oh, I'll try drawing these out, and I just got really into it, and the next thing you know, I've like 12 levels, and it's taken weeks. I don't know why I just didn't print it out, but I never found that until like 6 months after I'd drawn it. I was like, why couldn't I print this? I could have just gone to a shop and printed all them out and then stuck them together, but I drew it instead.
Well, so we have a picture that you've provided us, and I'm gonna put it in chat here. Is that okay?
That's fine.
So this is part of let's see, there it went through. This is part of you laying it out right on the floor.
Yeah, on my living room floor.
multiple pages all taped together.
And the worst thing was I have a parrot, and the bird likes to usually come to interviews with me, but he's asleep tonight. And every time I put it on the floor, because I had to put little weights on it, the bird would just fly past and it would scatter all my things everywhere, and it was proper. It was a bit of a nightmare.
I'm checking it out now. Yeah, so we have, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It even goes off the picture screen. Right?
Yeah, so there was a few that I didn't quite finish some of it, but I got most of it done. There's 12 decks in total, which then she does split in the middle, and then she ends up with 6 decks. So there's 2 ships. Spoiler.
Well, that's incredible, and I'm sure that adds to the story's depth. And let's talk more. So let's go to the you writing your short stories, right? So could you tell us, you have a little thing, you wrote some short stories set kind of all over the place, but mostly right was it before through Steel and Stars?
Originally I kind of when I'm writing a world and a series, I kind of like to get to know some of the characters that are around, sort of like, or where the main character came from. So the first short I wrote was about his mum, and how she met sort of like one of the ships. It's not his ship, but it's one of the ships. And so I wrote that sort of like I think it was at the end of book or in the middle of book 2. And I thought, oh, I'll write sort of like the grandfather. The grandfather's always been like a bit of an interesting character. And I started off and it was like 3,000 words, and then it was I think I got to about 16, and I kind of wrapped it up into what I thought was a nice little little short story, and sent it to my editor. And my editor was like, "No, where's the rest of this?" And I was like, "Okay, well, I guess I'll just see where it goes." But the thing is, I kind of went back even further. So instead of where the short story was, I went back like another perhaps 30 years and started sort of like right in the beginning of where the grandfather starts out his adventure. And it's currently, I think, at 365,000 words. So it kind of grew a bit.
Just a bit. And so the prequel, did the prequel grow out of these short stories? So Razor's Edge?
Yeah, it kind of did, because it's mostly about the grandfather, sort of like his interest in stuff. And it's going to be kind of interesting for me now because I'm just going into the third book for this, and I've got to try and bring it back around to the main series, which I don't think I'll be able to do in 3 books. I think it's going to be 6, but we'll see. It's been fun so far, but I actually do want to get to where he meets the ship and his adventures with the ship, rather than obviously Through Steel and Stars is like his grandson. So it's the same ship but different generations, basically.
Oh. Well, can I bring in our special guest before we talk too much about Razor's Edge?
Yep, sure.
Okay, I'm going to invite. So this is our friend Wayne Mitchell, and Dawn, act surprised. I
am surprised.
Okay. Usually at this point, the guest doesn't know who the special guest is, and sometimes it's narrators that the authors have worked with. In this case, I got the idea because Wayne and Dawn share a birthday.
You do.
And it's not that I stalk them. Well, I kind of do. I guess I kind of do. So we saw this on Facebook. We saw the chatter, and Dawn said, "I hope to meet you one day in person." And I thought, well, this would be fun to do. Wayne, can I just do I'm going to try to do my best to introduce you a little bit, and then you can fill in where I fail, and I will certainly fail. But so Wayne is a prominent narrator here in the community. He narrates the Underverse series, the Path of the Berserker series, the By Mort series, which I think is called something else I just can't pronounce. Can you say that one more time?
Shapocalypse.
Thank you.
Now you learn how to say it. I used to say Shapocalypse or something like that.
I would have said that. I would have pronounced it that Shapocalypse.
Yeah.
Now you see why I didn't try it. And then and also the Soul Canvas series, right? Is that right? Yeah. So welcome and thank you. You haven't been on my podcast before, but I'm very happy to have you.
Thanks for having me, Jared. I really appreciate it. It's great to see you in person, Dawn.
I know. It's like maybe 7 years we've known each other.
Yes, it's 2018. I was telling Jared about our backstory, that you helped me get into the LitRPG world, my very first title.
I do connect quite a few people.
You do?
Well, Wayne, can we hear that story? I'd like to share it with everybody.
Oh yeah. I've been an actor my whole life, and I've always enjoyed voiceover, and I've always been good at cold reading. And somewhere along the way, I learned how thriving the audiobook community is, and the opportunities there. And I made it my mission to get into that, and started finding my way onto ACX and auditioning. And I kept hearing about this LitRPG genre, which was interesting because I played a little D&D when I was younger. And then this Endless Online came available on the audition, and I auditioned it. It was a good month, if not more, before I heard back anything. And Dawn was working with the author M.H. Johnson, who wrote Endless Online, and they reached out to me and said, "Hey, we liked your audition, and let's work together." And Dawn was integral in the first book we did together. She was the proofer. I can't remember if you proofed the second or third.
I think I did a good few, but I don't think I did the last couple, so I can't remember how many there is.
But it was just nice that I was in I was in experienced hands, like people that knew what they were doing, because this was all new to me. And so they were just very great people to take me, because it was new for Matt, M.H. Johnson, as well.
Yeah.
So Don, definitely the voice of experience that was guiding us two fellas, along the way. And since then, me and Matt have worked on 17 other titles. I'm about ready to start on third series, Battle Forged, book five, I think.
Yeah.
And
they're huge books as well. It's just
Yeah, and I'm one of those silly actors that has a mortgage now that audiobooks are paying for. So it's,
It's needed. I get that. I do.
yeah.
So Dawn, I want to ask. I'm curious, and probably some people know this already, but I don't know. How long have you been a part of this community? It seems like you've touched a lot of people's lives, and you've been heavily involved with getting people involved with LitRPG. Tell us about that.
Originally, I think I kind of came across Royal Road through one of my science fiction groups, and I kind of started from there. So I just like helping people. It's like that's kind of who I am. And I started out by moderating a couple of the Discord. It wasn't Discord. Yeah, it was Discord. Discord groups at the time. And then I kind of started helping Royal Road itself with moderating in the background, just like the Discord groups and different things. And I was invited by Simon, who's the publisher for Magic Dome, and I helped admin his group and some of the others for quite some time before I took a bit of a break, and then I've obviously only just gone back to it in the last sort of like 18 months or so. But I just like connecting people, narrators to authors, people to editors, anybody that's in the community is just like, if they come to me and they need someone, I can point them to somebody who's a good match, not just, oh, here's somebody I recommend. I try and find them the best fit, which is especially when narrators and authors get together, they kind of need someone that knows a little bit about both so that they've got the best kind of person for their type of book, because everybody's different and each book's different. So connecting them.
So what came first for you, Dawn? Was it writing or was it being involved with the community?
I was writing first. My sci-fi series, one of my first ones, I started publishing on Royal Road before I actually kind of fell in with LitRPG, and then realised, like, hang on, what's all this? It's like, oh, this is really good. I like this.
And what year would you say that was?
2017.
2017.
So, yeah. Quite a long time ago now.
pretty early on, yeah, that's for sure. And Wayne, was that what about the timeline for you? Can you, like, what year did you meet Dawn the first time? You said 7 years?
Yeah, it was the first year I learned about the community through a screenwriting podcast that I listened to, and the audiobook community. And John August is a very well-known screenwriter, and he decided to move away to Paris with his husband and write his own 3-book series. And when he did a separate podcast explaining every step of the way, and when he got to audiobooks, I'm like, why am I not doing this? Why is this not my career? And that was, I think, January 2018, and I went full on. And then I think Dawn and I connected with Matt maybe that summer.
Yeah, I think
summer, maybe fall.
I know I was actually doing one of M.H. Johnson's books when I actually flew to DragonCon, and I came back from DragonCon and I was proofing for Steve Campbell and for M.H. Johnson around that time. So I know I was definitely doing their books at that time anyway. So easy 2018, 19.
Yeah.
Steve was our special guest on the first episode of season 6. So
I've got to meet him one time back in APAC 2019, and I was just like, this guy's cool. And we can talk.
He's very cool.
Yeah,
100%. So, all right, just to keep us on track here, because I think we could probably talk for a while. I want to get more into Razor's Edge, right? And so some of the questions, some of the fan theories and the side characters, we'll talk about in a second. But I want to talk about this character Pops, right? And the premise of Razor's Edge. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Basically, this is before like most of the system starts. So they have, like, if you can imagine the old computers we used to have, like the old big massive bricks. He's kind of like in that era, but obviously for the science side of stuff. So they have like access to like sort of like HUDs, so they can still access like the internet and stuff through their minds and things like that. But it's not as technical. It's not as easy. Just like everything progresses, and he's like right at the beginning of this, and he's got this really kind of broken system that doesn't work, and he really kind of wants out of his life. He's a mechanic in a garage, just making ends meet, and he gets the opportunity to break into a secret facility and steal a up-to-date AI basically. And this is kind of like where his sort of story starts, with them meeting friends in the academy he goes to, and then obviously sort of he gets to fix the AI and grow the AI itself, so it becomes not so much a person, but she obviously does progress through the whole story, and she's kind of like who is the system in Through Steel and Stars. That's where she starts from, which is really interesting to me because I wanted to follow the progression of the system and how it starts to integrate into every single person. I've not got it's like some of that's through book 3, which I'm only kind of plotting and starting this next month. So, but that's where we're heading towards.
So it sounds like you are, in terms of a plotter pantser, you sound like very much like a plotter.
I'm a little bit of both. Through Steel and Stars came about because I like to see visual images, and I love my cover designers, and my cover designer at the time posted the original cover of Through Steel and Stars, which I was like, oh, that's really good. I could probably write something like that. One of my friends was like, the Royal Road Write-a-thon was coming up, which you write 55,000 words in 5 weeks. And one of my friends was like, let's do it in 5 days. I was like, okay then. So it was a bit of a challenge. I had no plan at all, and it was a case of just sit down and there it goes. And that's exactly what I did. And the whole point of the Royal Road Write-a-thon is you actually post it to Royal Road as you've written it. So it really was like the basic raw typos. It was fun, but it was not, perfect by any means.
You're not refined yet?
Definitely not refined.
Yeah.
It definitely became a lot more refined after that. So I wrote virtually 2 books in 2 months, from the November to December. I took a break in December.
That's incredible. Yeah. And Wayne, I'm curious, the books that you do more often than not, are they, have you done much sci-fi? Because we're talking primarily about science fiction right now.
Yeah, I've done a good amount of sci-fi, and then a lot of the LitRPG I've done is I would say leans towards sci-fi, like Path of the Berserker. Apocalypse is definitely sci-fi.
And even Endless Online was actually more sci-fi as well, sort of like from the beginning.
Yeah.
So
how was that for you as a former D&D player? Are you a science fiction fan just in general? Like, is that what you read in your free time?
Me? Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I'm a born and raised Star Wars kid. We're all from the same generation. Like I remember seeing the original in '78 when I was like 3 or 4 years old.
Yep.
I think there's only I'm not sure whether there's only a year difference between us or 2, or I'm not 100%, but we do share the same birthday, which is very strange.
That's right. So are you? So I'm curious. This we got to bring this up on the podcast. Boslo is in the chat, by the way. He's saying hi to everybody.
Hi.
Boslo.
So I want to know whether you think Star Wars is. Do you know what I'm going to ask? Dawn is smiling.
I'm not finishing it. No, you can say
you're not finishing. Okay. I'm afraid now. I'm afraid to say it. Is it science fiction or is it science fantasy? What would you say?
In my head, it's always science fiction. I mean, I understand the science fantasy argument, but for me, it's it's spaceships and lasers and robots, man. So that is science fiction for me.
Yeah. I can see an argument for. Anyway, I won't digress.
Because of the Force, and you start looking at it like with LitRPG glasses on, you can see how it definitely complements that world. But before all that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so we only have about 6 minutes left, if you can believe it. Don, I told you this would go fast. So I want to talk a little bit. So we have this romance sort of category that we have to talk about in the fan theories and side characters. Don, you said that everyone wanted to see Mal and Rus get together, and you just could tell us about that.
So that's for my cyberpunk series, and I started out and I wanted to challenge myself that there wouldn't be a romance in this, because I knew straight away that everybody ships people as soon as they see a woman or a guy in a story. It's like, oh no, they're going to get together, and I was absolutely adamant that they were not getting together in this book. And the messages I got when it first came out, everybody was asking, oh, when are they going to get together? When are they going to get together? And I'm like, no, they seriously don't. Stop it. They don't. They're just friends. And nobody, sort of like, I think it probably did disappoint quite a few people, but I really just was adamant from the get-go they wouldn't get together because that's what people expect sometimes. And
Well, it also sounds like you have very strong, like when you write a character, you already know who their love interest is going to be, right? So
yeah.
And that was the case with Troy and Robin, is that right?
Yeah, so Robin comes on Troy's ship sort of like within the first 15 chapters, I think. And I kind of knew that was going to be a major relationship. And that's how I set out. And it doesn't obviously develop really fast. It kind of is in the first book, but it's not very fast as in terms of relationships. And she's a big pivotal sort of character in the whole world, especially going through book 2. And I just think characters tell me who they are and what they want to be and who they want to be with. And, it's like, I don't sometimes get to make that choice, which is with the cyberpunk, I was like, no, this is not going to happen. They're just going to be friends because that's just what I wanted. Whereas like sometimes they automatically say, no, we're going to be together.
Are you fairly comfortable writing romance? Because it's one of the things that I struggle with writing.
I think series, and there's places in some books where there should have been a romance and there wasn't, because I don't think the author's been comfortable doing it, and it's kind of what I'm okay with it because I do think relationships happen. You're not going to go through a couple of years worth of your life with people around you and not have a relationship with someone. It's not going to. I mean, okay, you might have the odd coupling and things like that. You're going to have sex with different people, but it's just weird to not have a kind of relationship that will develop naturally. And that's kind of how I see my stories doing it.
Especially on a starship where you're in like close proximity, right? Like, Well, we have about 3 minutes left, and so I would love for each of you to tell us what you have going on. So Dawn, let's start with you. What do we have coming out here? What can we look forward to, and where can we find you online?
You can literally find me online pretty much anywhere. The Facebook groups, Discord groups, Royal Road. I literally just am everywhere. So just if you want to talk to me, it doesn't matter. You find me. I haven't got any plans for actually publish anything this year. I'm actively writing on Royal Road itself at the moment, and I'm just kind of seeing where life takes me. I had a couple of years where I had some really strict deadlines, and it kind of broke me. So I'm coasting for a bit, which is where I'm at the moment.
So Razor's Edge is on Royal Road right now.
Yep.
Is it book 2 or book 3 right now on Royal Road?
Book 1 and book 2 are there, and I'm probably going to start book 3 in the next few weeks. So. And
that made it to. Did it make it to number 5 on science fiction and AI, Rising Stars?
It was on the science fiction Rising Stars. It was number 2 for quite a while.
Number 2.
And I didn't break onto the main page on Rising Stars. I was actually at number 11 for quite some time, but it was the first time I've ever been on Rising Stars in 8 years. That was my first hit.
No way. That's And so what is your username? Can you tell us your handle on Royal Road if people want to go there?
Conundra. You can find me on the Conundra pretty much anywhere. That was my gaming tag. So
I wanted you to pronounce it. I didn't want to mispronounce it.
That's fair.
And Wayne, tell us what you have going on and what we can expect to find from you in 2026.
Well, the Underverse series has started up again in full strength. And I got to meet and hang out with Jez in Denver this past LitRPG Con. And that dude's awesome. Like, I don't know if you got to hang out with him for very long without drinking rum, but the guy likes his rum and he makes sure everybody has some when you hear him. So he's phenomenal. I don't know if you gave him a hug. It's like, have you ever hugged an anvil? That's what like hugging Jez is like, man.
Yeah, he's very solid. He's
very solid man. Super polite. Couldn't be nicer. And I've already recorded books 8, 9, and 10.
Wow.
And then we've got 11 and 12 on the calendar for 2026. And then I'm starting to work on Battleforged 5 at the end of the month. So, yeah.
That's amazing. And are you going back to Denver this summer?
I plan on it. I had such a great time. I actually had a few folks ask me to sign some autographs, which has never happened before, and from different titles as well.
We got to get you up on that stage reading some of the Underverse. Let's see if Geneva can do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dawn, can we get you there? Do you think we can get you there?
I'm not sure. I've not committed to anything. It's a long way to go for the UK for such a short time, and it's expensive. It's one of them. I've got a few things this year that I'd like to try and wrap up. So
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I hope to meet both of you in person one day, and I want to just say thank you for coming on tonight, and happy 2026, everybody.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. Great to see you, Dawn.
Hello.
And just one note before we leave. We're doing tomorrow. I'm doing kind of a midweek interview. Tao Wong is coming on, and then next Sunday is Sean Oswald. So, so we'll see everybody then. Take care.
Awesome.